Hear the music, yeah. You still hear me, right? Okay, I just need to keep passing the link around, but I feel like we can get started. Yeah, like start the stream. Oh yeah, do you have everything? Because you have everything, right? You have all the stuff, right? Nice. Let's put this damn stream keeps taking me off the line. Test will be when if they can hear, well, they can hear me at least. I know how to scroll through servers better on the damn Discord site browser. Toaster my huh? Repeat what you said earlier? Huh. I don't know, but for some reason the stream kind of lagging a bit on my end, like the live stream, I mean. No, like I'm on YouTube right now, like listening, and I hear me talking actually, so I feel like we started already. this is me coming out to the YouTube end. Hey, check. That's it.
Links. Yeah, I got all the links and everything. It's just some odd reason the browser's not up on the stream. Let me switch the window. Nah,
All
it's
I
up.
know
It's
right
good.
now is that my voice connection here is fucking flimsy here for some reason.
Is it the Wi-Fi at the
Oh my god, please stay green.
wherever
Please
you're at?
stay green. Well, the Wi-Fi
Oh,
says
I
it's
see Toaster
good.
in the chat. What's up?
It's just the voice connection keeps going is all over the place. Yeah, she been in the chat.
As long as you're coming in clear.
Last
Yeah, as long as
thing
you're coming in
I
clear, it should be
hope I'm
fine.
coming clear to on her end. I hope I am. I don't know for sure because of I'm worried of how I'm sounding because of my voice connection here. That's why.
Toast, you said you can hear him?
Toast says she Toast says they can hear me. Yes.
Yeah, she says you're clear enough. All right, cool.
Woo!
Damn it, is this episode 3? Yeah, this is the
Wait,
third
I thought we
episode.
were on 4 now. I thought we were on 4 now.
Is it 4? You check? Because I don't want to get the number wrong on the thing. I haven't even done the sign on yet, and I already forgot that.
So Toast says it's the third.
That's what I thought. See?
Mm.
Oh man.
No, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm looking at the on your channel right now. You
What do you
have
mean?
I see the episode 2 live. I see 2 episode 3s. What the fuck? Hang on. The playlist. Monkey's Paw podcast. Okay, this should be the third one. Oh lord.
Okay, good. Good evening, folks, and welcome to episode 3 of the Monkey's Paw, where we document the downfall of Western entertainment. And tonight we got 3 new topics, similar to last week, but it's actually going to be the 3 other things that happened other than the actors or the writer's strike.
Oh boy. Let's get into them.
Yeah, Soups, you said you beat Spider-Man 2 recently, right?
Oh yes. Oh yes. I just as of last as of
Ah,
yeah, last night I have 100%ed every region of Spider-Man 2.
what? You complete you like
Yeah?
100%ed the game? Yo, that sounds like it sounds
Platinum
like you
trophy,
shouldn't
but
be able
yeah.
to do that like that quickly. That's what I mean. Like it sounds like you shouldn't be able to do that quickly. You know what I mean? Like
I mean,
how
yeah,
short was
actually
the
they
game?
they
I
did they
think
did make
it's 6 hours of cutscenes.
yeah, 6 hours of cutscenes and all the extra all the extra stuff doing pretty quickly. You can grind through it pretty easily in the beginning, and then after that, it's take like a hours to finish the rest. Some people
See, and that's the problem. That's the problem right there. It shouldn't be that easy to complete the game, especially for something you paid like $70
well, you
for. Is that how much it was?
you s- you I got it for like 75. But you say easy, but some of those henchmen are absolute bitches, man. When the fucking henchmen are harder
I
than the
watched a
boss fight.
good bit of the
Although, to
gameplay.
be fair, the Venom boss fight at the end did give me a struggle.
Wait, what? Wait a minute. Like, wasn't the final fight with the anti venom suit just a cutscene? Which, by the way, that shit is unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
You do get to play as Spider-Man in that anti-venom suit fighting Venom. You do get to play. It's like you have like 3 rounds with him as Spider-Man, and then 3 rounds with him as Miles. It was something like that.
Really? Let
Yeah.
me guess. Miles strikes the final blow. No, actually, no. In the
Huh?
cutscene, it is Pete that strikes the final blow.
Actually, no,
I
he
remember
doesn't.
that
He
much.
doesn't actually.
What? No, I mean he kills the symbiote, doesn't he?
No, I mean like it isn't. It wasn't Miles. It wasn't Miles that did the final blow on Venom. No, it wasn't.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Um, oh, I did predict that Miles would fight Peter in the symbiote suit. I knew that shit was coming. I fucking called that shit. I
My
knew it.
God, you called it. You called it. I hate. Like okay,
Fucking
I was playing as Symbiote Spider-Man while my sister was playing as Miles. So I just passed the controller to her when that fight happened, and I was just like, end my suffering, really, make it fast, just make it fast.
a D. I decided to have it be the first topic just because I mean we opened with it pretty much because I asked you if you
Oh,
beat it.
oh my
After that,
God.
I guess we can get into South Park.
Yeah, yeah.
I just want to see how much of this
I want to
article.
grow up.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying like I grow better.
I want to see how much of the article you actually resonate with. I'm going to start reading. It says history is repeating for Marvel
Yeah, go
Spider-Man
ahead.
2 in one disappointing way. Got you. While most fans are understandably thrilled
Okay.
about what has been shown for Marvel Spider-Man 2, Insomniac is stuck dealing with a familiar problem. Let's see. Marvel Spider-Man 2 faces unnecessary controversies and odd criticisms from gamers, with rude comments and hostility being thrown at Insomniac Games. You see how they just don't listen to their customer base? Like every bit of criticism levied at them is just unnecessary and odd and rude. Like it's insane.
Odd con. Wondering what do they mean by it? Odd complaints and controversies. Are they talking about the flags?
Well, it's talking about pretty much all the criticisms people had about ugly Mary Jane, the blatant LGBT propaganda with the side quests, the
Man, I wouldn't
bizarre
call
lack of
that an
cops in the
odd
game.
controversy.
I mean, that's how they're gonna paint it, though. Every reasonable complaint that the
Good
customer has
point.
about the game is gonna be dismissed as. Go ahead.
As odd. Every complaint is just gonna be kind of dismissed as odd or whatever.
Exactly. And let me go ahead and read the next part. It says past controversies surrounding the franchise, such as the infamous Puddlegate. What the fuck is Puddlegate? Highlight the tendency of fans to overreact and make pointless arguments.
What?
Criticism about I have no idea what Puddlegate is, man. Like, what is that? I didn't hear anything about it throughout this game's entire. I don't know what they're talking about. Criticisms about character design changes and reused animations seem like nitpicks, and it's frustrating to see such minor flaws being blown out of proportion. See, this whole article is gonna be them minimizing the opinion of the fans. I can see it now. I can see it now, dude. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 seems to have everything going for it. Not only is it following up two great games, allowing Insomniac to build off their foundation and improve upon what works so well, but the game will also be exclusive to the PlayStation 5. Is it really? Wasn't it playable on PS4? I might be wrong.
Spider-Man 2? No. Miles Morales game, yes. And part 1.
Okay, yeah, okay. So this one is actually exclusive to PlayStation 5. Okay.
Well,
this gives Insomniac Games the opportunity
until it comes out on PC, because I bet that I bet it's gonna come out on PC eventually.
Well, yeah, I think it's already on PC because the flag controversy with wait, no, that was the first game with the changing the pride flag to the American flag. It might come out on PC. It might. If it's not out already, I don't know. Like I just watched footage of it. I haven't done any real research on it. The flag thing?
Yeah, it's so fucking funny. And it wasn't even the mods that did it this time with this Sonic. So when they were
You faded out for me just now. You said something about the mods.
oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I was just saying it was like for Spider-Man 2, it wasn't the mods who changed the flags. It was Insomniac themselves, or, Sony, when they were releasing it across countries.
Oh yeah, that mod didn't even do any work. It just enabled the regional. I forget which country. It was a specific country that they enabled the region change for on the flags. They didn't even go through the game and change anything. That's what was funny. Like, I'm assuming a similar mod will be available for Spider-Man 2 when it comes to PC because they released the game and a lot of the LGBT stuff is gone, especially in like the Middle Eastern released version. That's what's crazy. They really only see these people as like money. They don't really care about their beliefs, but they also don't care about customer beliefs. So I mean, we're the ones who are really losing at the end of the day. But anyway, I'm gonna continue. Marvel Spider-Man 2 seems to have everything going for it. Not only is it following up two great games, allowing Insomniac to build off their foundation and improve upon what worked so well, but the game will also be exclusive on the PlayStation 5. This gives Insomniac Games the opportunity to deliver a truly next-gen experience, whatever that means, ensuring that Peter and Miles' next story is impressive from a technical standpoint. The narrative itself is set to feature fan favorite foes like Kraven and Venom too, which is another plus. Despite all of this, Insomniac Games is stuck dealing with odd complaints and controversies before release. Just the way they dismiss customer feedback
Bro,
is fucking
it's like
appalling, dude.
also just writing the technical stuff about the game. Mind you, like, yes, it is technically good, but by gameplay standpoint, but the stories is so bad.
Yeah, it's garbage. Like it feels rushed. Everything everything that doesn't have to do with Peter feels shoehorned, and the existence of Venom with no Eddie Brock, I'm gonna keep bringing that shit up. It feels out of place. Everything that happens feels like it needs to happen because the
Oh,
writers want it to, and not for any organic reason.
bro,
Go ahead.
I knew they were gonna blow their loads when they started putting teasing Venom and putting Venom in here, but my God, it's the way they forced in Venom. It's basically the Spider-Man 3 dilemma all over.
Well, at least Spider-Man 3 grew to be beloved by fans eventually.
Well, yeah, because Spider-Man 3 still had the soul of what made Spider-Man good, and it did Harry's character more justice than the game did. I said that. Yes. Yes, Part 3 did Harry better than this game.
I can tell. Oh my god. Oh Jesus Christ, dude. Like,
Bro, like,
all right, let me read a little bit more and go ahead.
y-
Well, I'll
you're,
read after you finish. Go
know,
ahead.
how the game does not incentivize play as Miles throughout the story or any of the side missions. Y- But my sister Miles.
Hey, Soups.
This is absolute garbage.
Hey, Soups. Toast says
Did you hear me?
there's a bit of a delay on your end. Yeah, I heard you, but just hop out and hop in real quick, and then I'll continue on with the article. All right, he's back in here. Damn, why does it keep kicking you down? There we go. We got him back. Back in here. Soups, you good? Sorry, guys. Just a second. Am I good? There we go.
You hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you. You're good.
All right, sorry about that. I was just saying earlier before my connection fucked up. Um, just that the game does not incentivize you to play as Miles. Honestly, Just- it doesn't. His story is so weak.
I mean,
Everything on his end is just weak.
his story was kind of weak since the first game where they introduced him. Some of the most compelling parts about his story are how his father died in the line of duty, and after that, it's just nothing. There's just absolutely nothing. He's the
Yeah, that's
greatest person ever. Everyone loves him, and like he
yeah.
doesn't
Like,
really
there's
go
where's the
through
consequences
any.
of like the mask off?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know. Like even his suit at the end of the game shows very little regard for wanting to preserve his secret identity. Speaking of secret identities, why the
It's,
fuck does
bro,
everyone know
his
everybody's
hair is
secret
showing.
identity? where's the where's the tension at, bro? Like
It makes. I mean, all of Harlem knows Miles is Spider-Man for some reason, but somehow that
cuz they're
doesn't come
all
back to
people of
bite.
color. Bro, they're apparently all
Uh,
first of all at the end of Miles' game, there were like at least like five Hispanic and black people that were there, and then at the end they're like, "Yeah, he's our Spider-Man," and at the end of the game, he's like dapping everybody up on his street, and I guess that's supposed to mean they all know he's Spider-Man, and they're gonna keep it a secret, but that's not how life works. This shit is so stupid, bro. Like, why the fuck does he even wear a mask? What's the point? His mom knows he's Spider-Man.
because
Fucking for Peter, Mary Jane knows he's Spider-Man. Harry knows he's Spider-Man. Like, where's the tension at? Like, where's the balancing a double life aspect of it yet? They tried to do it with the teacher shit, but then he got the job with Harry. So like now what? Like what's now he's doing a startup company in his garage. What is I don't get it, bro.
it's just it's just all gone, man. Like,
I don't get it.
it's what's the word for it? It's just kind of the risk is just kind of gone at this point.
There's no stakes. None. Like the most compelling part about Spider-Man was, you know, how he had to balance being Peter Parker, but if everyone knows, like where the fuck is there's no reason to play. If they make a third game, which they're hinting at, um by the way, I don't know if anyone would want to play this game, but I'm about to give away a huge spoiler. Not really. Kind of. Okay, if you're genuinely interested in this game, it is a spoiler, but it's not really cuz you should have better taste and you shouldn't care about this game if you consider yourself a real fan of Spider-Man. But they teased Cindy Moon at the end of the game, and she appears in like her teenage form when in the books that's not how you're introduced to her. The thing with Cindy Moon, she's Silk in the comics. The thing with her is that she was bitten by the same
Oh my
spider
god, they brought in.
that bit Peter
I
Parker.
saw
Yeah.
that bit. I saw that bit at the last like. Oh no, I just got flashbacks to all those stupid comics of her, bro. The last thing you want to do.
Whoever wrote their comic was like sex crazed. like to the max. Like there was this one point where they were at the bank, and like since they were bitten by the same spider, apparently they're like attracted to each other on like a pheromone level or some goofy ass plot point they made up. And in order to keep them from essentially stripping naked and going at it in full view of everyone in the bank, Miguel O'Hara and Gwen, Spider Gwen, had to separate them. And like, I don't know. I have no idea what the fuck they're doing with all these spider people, man. But I'm trying to figure out what the motivation is going to be for the third game, because I don't see anything. I don't see where they could go. Like, what would compel anyone to buy the next game?
I beats me. I don't fucking know.
Anyway, let me continue with the article, because the point of me picking this one is to show how little they think of their customer and fan base. Like, it's insane, dude. Like, everything is nitpicking, everything is rude comments, and everything is odd. Like, it's just retarded. Where did I leave off? Here we go. Oh yeah, of course they throw this in here. To be clear, gamers have every right to criticize the content they're being shown ahead of a title's debut, so long as the criticism is constructive and non-hostile. There's been plenty of constructive criticism that wasn't hostile. Here's the thing about pre-release advertisement I never fucking understood. If you see a trailer for something and you think it's gonna be shit, everyone is like, it's not even out there. It's not even out yet. You can't possibly know that. But if you see it and you get excited, no one ever says, oh, you don't even know that. It could be garbage. It's not even out yet. It's like, if it's positive, it's okay, but you can't have anything critical to say ever. Because it's not even out yet, bro. Like, it's retarded, bro. As if no one can ever make an accurate assessment on whether or not they themselves are going to like a product before it's released. It's the dumbest shit ever. Like, if I think it's gonna be shit, that's my opinion. And 9 times out of 10, if it's a pre-established IP and certain key elements are missing from it, it turns into being objective. Like, you know, when I found out Venom wasn't gonna be Eddie Brock, I'm like, yep, well, Venom's gonna be shit, and I was fucking right. Because for some reason, this character who's not Eddie Brock and doesn't share the same context or relationship with the symbiote that was established in the comics still somehow has the name Venom without any of the fucking motivations behind the name. That objectively makes the concept garbage. It dilutes the entire concept. Hang on. Let me see. Can you hear me still, Soups? Ah, shit, hold on. Soups, you there? Hang on, I'm checking DMs real quick. Oh, all right. He wants me to keep going. He's gonna try and fix it on his end. Um, I'll continue with the rest of the article and give my thoughts as we move on. Hey, Soups, if you're listening, let me know if you come back. If not, it's fine. Um, we'll work it out by next episode anyway. But where did I leave off? Thanks, Toast. Oh, okay, let me restart. To be clear, gamers have every right to criticize the content they are being shown ahead of a title's debut, so long as the criticism is constructive and non-hostile. Unfortunately, just like with the original Marvel Spider-Man, that has not been the case with Marvel Spider-Man 2. They never have examples for what constitutes non-constructive criticism. Like, when people tell you, hey, Mary Jane is supposed to be more attractive than how you've shown her here, and we have visual fucking proof from 80 years worth of comic history to show for it, and you tell everyone that they're wrong, or you give some fucking excuse like, stress ages you, and it's like, no, you can't give an excuse for this shit because it's a 3D generated model that you could easily go into a sculptor and fix. This is clearly propaganda. You made Mary Jane, who's supposed to be a bombshell smoke show supermodel, look like, I don't even know what the fuck you made her look like, bro. You made her swallow a shovel, and then you just showed that to everyone and told them to deal with it when they didn't want to. But I guess telling you that you're doing something wrong with a character is non-constructive and hostile criticism. Fucking retarded, dude. Alongside some odd nitpicking, gamers have once again been overly hostile toward Insomniac Games, with rude comments able to be seen regularly across the internet. This is a genuine shame, as once again the franchise is being met with far more controversy than it deserves. Whatever you say. Marvel Spider-Man 2's odd criticisms are unfortunately nothing new. Let's see what they say about it, bro. The original Marvel Spider-Man had its share of weird controversies, with the most infamous of all being Puddlegate. Again, whatever the fuck that is. Like the name suggests, gamers online threw a fit over a large puddle that was taken out of the full release, arguing that its removal was the sign of a massive graphical downgrade, like what occurred with the original Watch Dogs. In reality, Insomniac simply moved the puddle and altered the lighting from the mission in question, making the entire controversy pointless and embarrassing. How is that pointless and embarrassing? See, whenever you see large controversies like that, and you're sure that the audience might have misinterpreted something, that's when you get a representative out to show proof that that's not what's going on. But instead of doing that, you say that the controversy is pointless and embarrassing. You know what I mean? I don't even know the details of this, but something tells me it actually was a graphical downgrade similar to the original Watch Dogs, and you just don't want to own up to it. Also, they clearly don't understand the gamer audience, because this is the type of shit I was saying before whenever they were saying that the people arguing about Starfield were making nitpicks and all this other type of shit. People will argue about shit like graphical downgrades and graphic fidelity when that doesn't at all determine whether or not a game is actually going to be fucking good. You know what I mean? Like, graphical fidelity, I would consider this an actual nitpick, but it's still customer fucking feedback. And as a company, you should address that. If I'm in the audience, I get to have the opinion that graphic fidelity is somewhat of a nitpick. But again, as a representative of a company, you should at least address your fucking your fan base. Like, it's just the right thing to do, even if you think it's stupid. Beyond that, so-called fans have harassed and insulted Insomniac Games developers over the face change of Peter Parker in the first title's remaster and the newer Marvel Spider-Man games. I mean, again, this is just choosing not to listen to your fan base. I mean, they told you they didn't like a change, and instead of bringing back the original face model, you just told them to go fuck themselves. I don't know what you wanted. Regardless of whether players agree with Insomniac's logic that a younger-looking face suits Yuri Lowenthal's performance better, it doesn't. Why does a younger Spider-Man suit the performance better? Like, what does that even mean? Like, you do realize that Peter Parker ages in the comics, right? I mean, look at the example from Spider-Man the animated series. He's a grown man by that point, working at the Daily Bugle, and he doesn't look anywhere near as young as the new face model. Like, what is wrong with the media and their fear of making Spider-Man a grown ass man? Like, the last time we seen a grown ass man Spider-Man on a silver screen was Tobey Maguire. That's the last fucking time. That's literally the last time. Whenever we saw Spider-Man and he wasn't in high school, was fucking Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. That was the last time. Yes, he was in high school briefly for the first movie, but he actually graduated. So, like, oh no, I wasn't hearing you, Soups. I see you're in here. Are you playing around with your settings right now? Hey, say something real quick. I mean, yeah, you can hear me, but I don't see you. I can't see your avatar lighting up. Nah, I can't. I can't hear you. Yeah, Toast says she can't hear you either. It is. Discord is kind of ass, but try reconnecting again. I'm actually gonna stay in the. I'm gonna stay in Discord to make sure that I see you when you come in, because I don't know why Discord's not playing the sound whenever someone joins the voice channel. There we go. Now I can hear you.
You hear me now? Are we good? Go.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Thank
Yeah, I can hear you.
God. Fine. I hate Discord with a passion.
Yeah, it can be annoying sometimes. But anyway, in the
I was
article,
trying to
I
say
just got
earlier
to this
that
part. I just got. Go ahead.
hold up. I was trying to say earlier that article is trying so hard to protect Insomniac. Like it's really, uh, it's so show media of them, man. Like they want to just throw it all under the rug just to make the game look good instead of letting them, take a hit and recover.
I mean, they want to sanitize everything. I mean, the thing is, Insomniac never had to take a hit in the first place. If they just continued to deliver on what people wanted and amplify the things that people responded positively to, they would be winning. But it's not about winning. It's about propaganda and political messaging. That's all this was about. Like,
Yeah.
listen to this shit. Like,
You know
why
what
is it like?
I
Why
was
does it
saying
make?
earlier about
What
the
does it
Spider-Man
even
3,
mean?
like the dilemma?
Yeah,
I said like earlier that it's also like Spider-Man 3 'cause I'm sensing studio interference. Like The Venom shoving. I feel like that's Sony talking again. I feel like that was them breathing on Insomniac's back again or neck.
I mean, we can't know that for sure though. Like, unlike with Insomniac, with Raimi, like he actually came out and spoke on it because he was the only one that had pretty much complete creative control over the Spider-Man trilogy project. It was him and Toby, right? They were doing shit like reading comic books on set to cross-reference the stuff they were actually doing with the film. And with Insomniac, it's hard to point out where the source of this, let's say, corruption lies. Like, I don't even know, like, who will we point to? Because, like, the logic that a younger looking, I mean, the logic that a younger looking face suits the performance better doesn't
That's
even
the
make
thing.
sense. Like, what does that mean? And why?
I don't know, but like, how else do you like? I don't know how they can how to reason face model changes and then the Venom shoving and they threw away the Harry's Goblin storyline, the best one of the best arcs he can have to shove in Venom.
I
How else can you make sense of it?
I was hoping. I mean, because they don't know how to organically do anything. They think the sooner you introduce the character, the more money you'll make, when that's not how it fucking works. Venom has had like decades of fan reception. So like you could introduce that motherfucker at any time and people would be fine with it. Like I don't like they think that okay, there's an aspect of fan reception they don't understand, especially when it comes to long time hardcore fans of things. They think that if they don't put Venom in as soon as possible, he's gonna be forgotten about, which makes no fucking sense considering how old the character is. I
And
don't
how
know.
popular he still is. Like he's never lost popularity, even with the shit movies of his. Like it's really hard for people to forget a guy like him. Fuck a monster like him, man.
I mean, the reason why the movies didn't diminish Venom's reputation is because the comic book one is way more popular. That's the only reason.
Speaking of
But
comics, bro,
my bad, I'm
the
finding my
symbiote
place in the
invasion
article.
arc, they shoved in the whole invasion arc into this.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It was trash. They didn't even do separation anxiety correctly. Like if they would have taken the time to actually do it, it would have made sense. Now Venom is the source of every color of symbiote when that's not the. Don't even get me started on that shit yet, bro. Let me continue to
That's
read.
not how it. Oh my, like none of it worked. And like, the story is so bad. At the finale is so. I mean, yeah, you said rush, but it's also just too fucking much in general. Even the comic was, in my opinion, the comic symbiote arc was already rough as hell because the whole symbiote lore was just so much like nonsense.
It was retconned like twice. It was the symbiote story and the lore behind them was retconned like twice.
Yeah, like
But
what?
let me pick up where I left
I
off real
remember
quick.
when the symbiote was like,
Were you done?
no, no, that's because I heard you say something and I thought you wanted like me to stop, so I could hear you.
Oh no, I just wanted to continue
No,
on. That way we can just get through it. How much?
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, there's not
go
much
ahead and
left.
finish, go ahead and finish. Yeah, go ahead and finish. I'll save my rant.
Yeah. Okay. The initial adjustment saw death threats and genuine hatred being thrown the developer's way, which is horrible and strange considering how little Peter Parker takes his mask off during the story. I mean, they just use death threats and genuine hatred. They use that shit as a shield to dismiss all the other criticism. Niggas always do that, bro. They all every single time. I got death threats and hatred. Like, okay, ignore those. We know that those are bad. Why do you keep bringing them up? What else was said? Like, it's stupid.
Not it. Not everyone sending threats is Sniper Wolf, guys. Don't worry.
I don't even. It's just annoying for people to bring up constantly, especially when you know for a fact there were things people said that weren't any of those things. Um, by the way, they take their fucking masks off way too much. I rebuke this fucking last part. He doesn't even take his mask off that much. See, the fact that you had to say that.
Yes, he does.
The fact that you don't see the problem with that sentence says something. Like, why is it that he's out in the city as Spider-Man and he's just taking his shit off? Everybody is just taking their shit off. They're not indoors. It's not a late night. He just dove through his window into his bed and took his shit off. These motherfuckers are on rooftops in full view of everybody. Just mask off. Fuck it, mask off. Like, it's retarded, bro. It's stupid.
They're doing the Amazing Spider-Man thing again, where Andrew Garfield always took his mask off in like every scene he was in as Spider-Man, even at the worst
Like,
times.
we don't know what the fuck their face looks like. It's so stupid, bro. While there are arguments to be made about the old face working better in
certain scenes.
Yeah, while there are arguments to be made about the old face. My bad, I'm fighting through the slight delay we got. While there are arguments to be made about the old face working better in certain scenes, just like there are arguments to be made about the original model not always looking correct. I never got that from the original model, and that's bullshit. I don't. Again, him being older does nothing to hurt the fucking cutscenes. This is just retarded. There is no justifying how players have acted. Peter Parker face complaints.
His original face was perfect, man. His original face was perfect, and like even Mary Jane, like face like looked good enough for what they were going for with her. And the second one just threw that out the window, and now you just got like two wrong-looking people making out in the game. It looks jarring.
Nah, Mary Jane. I hated Mary Jane in the first game too. Mary Jane's not supposed to look regular. That's the whole point of the character.
I know she was supposed to be, well, actress, perfect woman.
Yeah, she's a supermodel. Yeah, she's not even supposed to be a reporter. That shit's stupid too. But we need strong female characters, like goofy ass shit.
They say, it's funny how they want to go that fucking route with Mary Jane, but they don't bother at just making Black Cat like the main fighter, female fighter of the game. Like the ingredients are right there.
They don't care, bro. Let me get through these last couple paragraphs, and then we can get into your experience with playing the game, because I want to hear a little bit more about it. And I'm gonna try not to stop while reading, because like there's been a lot of shit that's jumped out at me.
Stay quiet. I'll stay quiet.
And compelled me to just talk about it. All right. Where did I leave off? I'll start up here. Peter Parker face complaints continue to be seen years after the adjustment, which is tiring, and they are now accompanied by aggressive remarks about Mary Jane Watson's new character model. Like the other characters, she has received a design change for the sequel, letting her hair down and being realized with better graphical fidelity, despite an Insomniac Games developer stating that it is just an upgraded version of the old design. Some gamers have become overly aggressive about thinking it is entirely different, calling Insomniac liars and saying that every feature on Mary Jane's face has changed. Additionally, there have been plenty of sexist comments and arguments that Mary Jane does not look pretty enough, with with certain fans bashing MJ's design even more than they did with the first game. I mean, she doesn't look pretty enough. Like, y'all gonna have to get over that shit. This character comes from somewhere, and
She don't look
she
pretty at
comes from a
all.
fucking comic book. How does she look? How does she look in the comic books, bro? Like, it's not hard. You see what she looks like in the comic books, copy and paste. There is no excuse for this shit, and there is no amount of rhetoric, no argument you can throw at anybody who's familiar with the source material to make them appear wrong. No, motherfucker, you are wrong. You're not going to tell motherfuckers who've been reading these books for upwards of like 20, 30, 70, 80 years that, oh, you're just a sexist and you don't know what a real woman looks like. Like, I guess pretty women don't exist in real life. All of them look like my feet. Every last one of them. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, it's so stupid.
Every Bro,
Two
it's like people
paragraphs
don't
left.
never go out to talk to
Oh,
like to
God.
they think we don't go outside, huh?
Nah, go.
They really think all gamers just hide in their basements,
Right.
huh?
Exactly. Like what the fuck, bro? Even before Marvel's Spider-Man 2's story trailer, gamers could be seen attempting to start controversies around the game. After the gameplay demonstration, some viewers made the silly argument that Insomniac was lazy because New York City, a very real location, looked too similar to how it did in the previous games. Others complained that outside the web wings, Peter Parker's swinging movements had too many reused. No, it's not. Had too many reused animations. However, with Peter likely swinging the same for years, similar animations make perfect sense. It also helps to save on resources. Oh, okay, so they are being fucking lazy. Thanks for helping their argument. Something that all sequels do, and just like with God of War Ragnarok's boat animation, there is literally no harm in bringing back animations that work perfectly in an older game.
Okay, wait, hang on. So
Oh
I
my
don't see
God.
anything wrong with like reusing some animations, like with the fighting, because it's the same move. Like, I wouldn't don't touch on that. Like, just don't address that because it makes you look lazy. It makes you look like you're trying to hide something.
I mean, the thing is, the second game plays exactly like the first game for the case of Spider-Man 2 and God of War Ragnarok. So people aren't wrong by saying this shit kind of feels like the first game. And if that's something that makes them not want to buy it, they're well within their right to do that. Even looking back at the PS2 era, yes, sequels that came out, especially if we're talking about the original God of War trilogy, right? All three of those games play very similarly. You could even say that they share animations as well, but there was always some sort of improvement or something new that they did with the gameplay or the game engine to spice up the experience. So, like, it just seems like they're not.
To be fair, sorry, I was just gonna say, wait. To be fair, in Insomniac's case, they did add like new stuff with like the web wings and just making New York bigger, like the wind tunnels and all. Like, at least added something to make like the flow of swinging better. And they do have like two separate bars for like abilities, where like if you went like L1 square, you unleash like an attack in the gadget thing. It's like it is they do at least improve on that end. But, like the basic combat, like with the punching and the
I mean,
kicking,
yeah,
yeah, that is very samey.
traversal was drastically improved. I saw that. That part's fine. But when you do the takedowns, it's literally the exact same fucking takedowns from the first game. Like they didn't revamp the animations for takedowns. I mean, you could have kept like one or two of them motherfuckers, but like all of them they're all the same.
All of them.
Like if you play and it makes it feel like you bought a sequel for absolutely no reason. You know what I mean? Like you don't buy a sequel for the exact same gameplay. Like traversal shouldn't have been the only thing they looked at. Like they should have looked at the combat a little bit more closely too. Because I know Miles got a bunch of skills added, but I mean his combat still feels the same. You know, like it still feels pretty similar to how he played in his game. So like, I mean, let me get through this last paragraph and then we can move on to South Park. Actually, we're gonna talk about your gameplay experience a little bit more and then move to South Park. But like any video game franchise, there are certainly flaws to be found within Marvel's Spider-Man games. A lack of villains outside the main story was an issue in the first two entries, while overly simple boss fights and repetitive side content could be pointed to as other issues. Just like the puddle that moved in the first game, though familiar swinging animations and Mary Jane looking old feel like nothing more than nitpicks. Of course, they feel like nothing more than nitpicks to you fucking normies. With the Marvel Spider-Man series doing so much right, perhaps this is naysayers just trying to find things to complain about. Either way, it is frustrating to see, as it makes little sense to harp on such minor flaws, if they can even be considered that. This article is just
okay.
I wanna say so
Absolute
many bad
shilling.
words, bro. It's garbage, bro. Like how much they disregard the opinions of actual comic book readers. Like it's so ridiculous, bro. Like oh my god. What would you rate this game out of 10?
You know they got paid.
What would you rate this game out of?
Oh shit. Oh come on. Uh, I'm feeling a little generous towards it. So I'm trying to pick between a 6 or a 7.
6 or a 7?
Yeah, because like overall I could still play the game. Hell, I'd replay the game just for playing it, you know? But the story is absolute ass. And there are things like within the combat that did like how you have to parry certain enemies, like you can't fucking dodge it, or you have to specifically dodge certain attacks, or because you cannot parry them, you can't hit them, like you can't do that kind of shit. Even if you will like use one of your super moves on it,
I
you
don't
can't stop like those some certain attacks.
I don't mind it that much for the parry thing. Because they're trying to add a bit of a challenge to the combat. That's fine. But like just the reused animations, I think that's a problem. Also, for a lot of those attacks that can't be blocked, or you can't dodge them. You can counter those with gadgets, and
Yeah.
gadgets are still hilariously overpowered in fucking. They're still hilariously overpowered in that game.
Bro, you have
Oh,
I
Ritter,
would
I see you in the
spam
chat.
the sound grenade. I would spam the sound grenade any chance I could during the Venom boss fight.
Cause it
It made
works.
it way
It fucking
that much
works.
easier to go through. Yeah, just spam the sound
Hang on,
grenade and
Ritter
just use
says
all your
that
super moves, and you
as
already got like Venom's like half. Huh?
my bad. I was gonna let you finish, but Ritter said, as from Heels versus Babyface explained who was responsible for all this. Apparently, it's all because of some weird company with Teddy Bear in its name having the final say in basically everything. What the fuck does that mean?
Wait, what did he say about Az? What did he say? What did he say about Az and Heath versus Babyface?
He explained that some company with Teddy Bear in its name has the final say for every decision that's being made in everything. Apparently, I want him to explain that further because I can do some
Huh?
research into that.
I Hey, yeah, give please give a little more detail into that. Uh,
I don't know if Raiders. I don't know if he left
what
or
was I
not.
gonna say?
I kind of want him to explain further.
Ah, ah, chat, fact check him.
Yeah, fact check him.
um,
Oh, he's
I was gonna say.
he said he's trying to find the exact name.
Oh, okay, cool. I was gonna say earlier. My experience playing the game. Also, oh, bro, the glitches. There are so many glitches in the game. I,
Oh yeah, I saw.
you heard
A
about
lot of them
those?
shits are hilarious. Somebody got stuck inside a train. Somebody got stuck inside a train, bro. Them shit. Oh my
Bro,
god.
I was fighting crime in like, one of the random team ups. It was Wraith. She comes on, and we beat all the enemies like in the area. But like, mission like it didn't tell me mission complete like nothing. We were just kind of I was just kind of stuck there like what now? Is there's like did I miss somebody? Is there so I'm just like running around the area, she's following me. I go to like I was even testing to see how far she would follow, like the NPC would follow. It's, it's
Let's
so
talk
funny. One
about the
time,
wasted potential.
what,
My bad.
hold on, what?
I was gonna, yeah, I was gonna say, let's talk about the wasted potential of the random hero encounters, dude. Because New York City, especially in Earth 616, there's several superhero teams that live there. We have the X-Men, we have the Fantastic Four. Well, Doctor Strange
Yeah.
isn't a team, but the Sanctum Sanctorum's there. You have the, I already said Fantastic
Oh,
Four, right?
you had
You have the
Black,
Avengers.
yeah, Avengers, X,
Bro, they could have, like, you have
Fantastic
Moon
Four,
Knight.
Defenders,
Bro,
Heroes for Hire,
like, why couldn't you
Web of Shadows. They
why
should have
doesn't
taken
this
from Web
game
of the
have more
Shadows
team
with
ups?
this, man.
Right? Like, I don't like that's such wasted potential. You
It's
could have ran into like Luke
uh,
Cage. Like,
I guess Insomniac doesn't have the rights to all those characters, huh?
I mean,
It's the only way that makes sense.
sure they don't, but
Wait,
they
that
had enough had a go ahead, my bad.
yeah, they had enough to like reference the big heroes, but they can't actually show them. And actually, they can't actually get the rights to them, I guess, for cameo appearances, even though they're all under the same banner now under Disney, which is so.
And this is why licensing is kind of gay, GHUY gay, cuz like all the potential you have to like have all that fan service present in your superhero game, and you can't do it because somebody's gonna sue you for money. So stupid, bro.
Speaking of fan service, speaking of fan service, I did like how they used the little comic. You could choose the little comic book sound effects, visual effects, and you could even do what's yeah, like little animations, like the Spider-Man pointing meme reference, things like that. I did not get a Bully Maguire reference though, and I'm still pissed at that.
And that's the only fan service you
Maguire
really got in
dance.
that game. The Spider-Man pointing at each other shit. They should have got a Bully
They need to
Maguire
give me
skin.
the
You
Bully
know there's gonna
Maguire
have
dance
they're gonna
still.
have a mod for that, bro. They're gonna have a mod for that, bro. It's gonna happen.
The mods are gonna have to give me that. Insomniac's bitch ass can't do that. Oh, but story. Oh, I want to mention
No,
on the
they
story
can't.
bit. Black Black is absolutely wasted, and I don't buy her having a girlfriend in the game. I feel like she's bullshitting on that.
I mean, you know what? What's funny is that you wouldn't even be wrong to not believe her, because if you played the City That Never Sleeps DLC, it would actually make sense to not trust her
DLC.
after what she did to Pete in the first game.
But like apparently that was supposed to be true. Like I think it's like didn't Insomniac confirm like that was actually supposed to be true? But the her having a girlfriend thing.
Wow. Whatever. I don't care about that. I was talking
Someone
about her
fact
lying
checked
to
me on
Peter and
that
saying he
chat.
had a kid with her.
Yeah, yeah, like she was meant to be lying to him about that. I knew. Second game, I thought she was pulling the same shit again to because Miles is fucking gullible. But but apparently but I keep seeing people like actually jumping on that, like hopping on that, like it's true, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Speaking of Spider-Man, oh, and Black Cat having a girlfriend. Put a chick in it, make her lame and gay. I want to open this by saying that I want to open this next topic by saying that I watched the Pandaverse episode for South Park, and I think they pulled a lot of punches. But let's get
They
into the
did,
article
they did.
first before I give my thoughts on the episode. Oh, you watched it too? I didn't think you did.
Well, actually, well, I saw a bit. I saw clips of it like through YouTube, and I saw like Critical Drinker and Neurotic talking about it. But, like I know what goes on. I know some of the jokes, and it is hilarious.
Yeah, it was
I
pretty
came to
funny.
talk.
So apparently
uh, It was pretty.
you first. I'll read what Ritter has to say after.
I was gonna say, in a little bit, I'm gonna have to hop off, but I do kind of want to see you talk about the Pandaverse a little bit.
Oh, that's cool. Apparently Ritter says that company he was mentioning earlier, says it's called Sweet Baby Inc. He said he guessed he had bears on the mind.
What the?
I'm gonna have to research them now. Sweet Baby Inc. I'm gonna have to look that up. So this one is gonna be coming from a Hollywood Reporter. It says South Park mocks Kathleen Kennedy, Disney diversity efforts. Gina Carano reacts. The latest special mocked Disney brass for diversity, pandering in franchises like Star Wars and Indiana Jones, while simultaneously criticizing trolls who attack Lucasfilm's Kennedy, as right-leaning celebrities ranging from Elon Musk to Carano weigh in. South Park's latest special skewered Disney for its recent, I wouldn't say skewered, for its recent box office slump, accusing the studio of lazily recycling the same ideas except with diversity casting. The episode particularly took aim at Lucasfilm head Kathleen Kennedy, while at the same time knocking online trolls who have piled on the executive in recent years. I don't think they took a shot at trolls, because there was that joke about Carmen saying, "Oh, I was getting up to 13,000 emails a day," because like it seemed like he was celebrating it. And obviously, trolling is a negative thing, but I mean, it was comedic. That shit was funny. The
I think
result has caused
what they were trying
right-wing
to go
celebrities
for with that.
ranging.
Sorry, I was just
Go
saying,
ahead.
like, I think what they were trying to go for was that they wanted to, take a shot at like, the haters, the internet assholes, and because Cartman himself is an asshole in South Park. Anyone who watched South Park knows he's an ass.
And Carmen is like one of the worst human. He's a kid, and he's the worst human being imaginable. Almost. He's not quite a dictator or a communist, but he's close. The result has caused right-wing celebrities ranging from Elon Musk to former Mandalorian star Gina Carano to weigh in. In the 47-minute special, Joining the Pandaverse, which premiered on Paramount Plus on Friday, Cartman begins to fear he's going to be replaced by a diverse woman. "I had a dream I was replaced by a diverse woman," he cries. "Only this time it wasn't me. They were taking all my favorite people and replacing them with diverse women who complain about the patriarchy." Disney stock keeps going down and down. Being replaced is exactly what happens when a portal to the multiverse opens up, which replaces him with a black woman. while sending Cartman to a universe populated only by women of color. Cart- Cartman's friends complain about the new Cartman, saying the switch doesn't make any sense to their PC principal, who accuses them of being intolerant. If you don't think Eric Cartman can be a
Oh,
black
that hits
woman,
close to
then
home.
maybe the problem is you, he says. You probably don't like There's a Black Spider-Man, to which the
Gaslighting
kids
hits
retort,
so close.
no,
They hit the
Miles
bullseye
Morales
on
is
that
sweet.
one, man.
I hate this next part, though. It says you probably don't like There's a Black Spider-Man, to which the kids retort, no, Miles Morales is sweet. That's a whole constructed thing with its own character and narrative. This is just taking the same old Cartman and putting a black woman in it. Like, bro, come on, bro. I don't know if that was supposed to be some sort of meta joke, but Miles Morales is literally just tokenized Spider-Man. Yeah, that's literally, people can't deny this. If you go back and watch the Brian Michael Bendis interview, he will literally tell you, we wanted to make Miles to be a black Spider-Man, and there's nothing you niggas can do to try and wave that out of existence. He wanted to tokenize a Spider-Man. That's literally what it is. But go ahead.
What else? It was that
Soups.
like it's like they're trying to like walk back because they know a lot of people liked Miles in like Spider-Verse 1, I think. So they're trying to kind of walk that back.
Oh, so they were being cowards. I see. I see. I see.
Yeah.
The story then
Kinda,
shifts
yeah.
to a meeting of Disney executives where CEO Bob Iger is irate. We don't understand it, sir, an executive tells Iger. We keep making the same movie over and over and pandering to everyone, but suddenly it's not working. Iger replies, then we've got to pander harder. It turns out the multiverse rip was caused by Lucasfilm's Kennedy, who tapped into a secret Disney artifact, the Pander Stone, which the studio has been using to remake the same ideas over and over. Yeah, in ways that try to appeal to the largest audience possible. An alternate universe version of Kennedy keeps giving the same note on every franchise project. Put a chick in it, make her lame and gay. When Cartman eventually meets the real Kennedy, she points out the overwhelming amount of backlash she's received. Yeah, bro, it's a meme. It's a meme forever because that's basically what they're doing.
Make her, yeah.
Basically. Let me see. When Cartman eventually meets the real Kennedy, she points out the overwhelming amount of backlash she's received for her well-intentioned efforts. Man, this is the shit I didn't like about it. They made Kathleen Kennedy seem like a misunderstood soul of a human being. She didn't know any better. She was just trying to bullshit, bro. Like, come on. But I hated that angle, bro.
I did.
What were you gonna say?
I did hate that. Like, it's like they don't want it to be under. They didn't want to be like exactly under direct fire from Kathleen, I guess. Like they wanted to try to play both sides.
This is exactly what I meant by pulling punches. Yeah, like this is what I meant by pulling punches. Like they didn't want to commit to what they actually did. Like, bro, you can't ignore fan reception. You can't ignore that they put these movies out and people were like, "Hey, this is garbage and here's why. And you should probably do this next time and here's why." Like, you can't, like, too much time has passed to paint Kathleen Kennedy and the executives at Disney as people who just didn't know any better and they thought they were doing the right thing. Like, no, it's bullshit. They know us, they hear us, they just don't give a fuck. So we have to assume, given that it's been like 5 whole fucking years. Right, we have to assume that, given that it's been 5 whole years. Exactly. Like, it just makes no sense. Like, I mean, and they just can't be honest about it. That's why I didn't appreciate that. Because, like, you're making it seem like we're being unreasonable when that's not the fucking case. By making her seem like this misunderstood person, it kind of slyway refers to the people criticizing Disney as the villains. To be completely honest.
Ugh.
Soups.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's kind of like it kind of gives a headache at sometimes, because they want to basically tell you, yes, there are actual assholes on the internet that just hate on stuff, which very fucking minor in comparison to the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, but those people are. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, bro. People know better. People know that there's a difference between someone who has proof behind their claims and somebody who's just chatting shit, bro. Like no one's that stupid. And the idea, I'm not the idea, and the way that they intentionally conflate those two groups of people is the annoying part of all of this. Like, and they can't be fair about it because they have to protect themselves. And that's the thing. But let me go ahead and continue. It says when Cartman
But
eventually
before you
meets
could,
the real
well,
Kennedy, she
keep
points
going,
out
but
the overwhelming. Mm.
like I hate interrupting, but I'm getting around to that time where I gotta hop off. I got places I gotta be. But keep going, spread the word.
Oh nah, bro, it's all good. Go ahead and hop off. I can take it from here. The
Yeah.
last the last thing I'm gonna end up talking about is the history of Marvel. But it's always good having you, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can
I'm
you can peace
glad
out.
that my I'm glad that at least for a little bit my connection is got better. It's not complete ass like last time, but I'm gonna try to set up better next time. Happy to be here. Keep
Nah, it's
watching
good. Like
guys and spread the word
it's
to
a
everyone.
lax environment, bro. Yeah, yeah please. I
Yeah.
want more people
All
to
right.
see this. It'd be peace out, bro.
All right. Well, peace out, guys.
And then there was just me and the chat. How you guys liking the content so far? Is there anything we can do better outside of the technical aspect? Which I mean, I think that's easily fixed. Um, but how is the overall delivery of the information? Oh, are we looking for another one? I wouldn't be opposed to that. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Toast, are you still in there? I just read your message. Ooh. Hang on, let me see if I can refresh something. There we go. Yeah. For you, Toast, just DM Soups later, and he can refer you to me, and we can talk about it if that's something you wanted to do. Also, can you guys see the article? It's not blurry or anything, is it? How does it look? Let me take a look at it. Oh, it's kind of blurry, just a little bit. You're welcome. Let me see what I can do about. too big. Hold on. But I'm going blind, so that's on me. I can zoom in, cause like part of showing you the article is so that you have a source and you can go there at any time, pretty much to fact check us, which we encourage. Also, it keeps us current with whatever information we find, especially when it comes to pop culture and what's going on with it. So I encourage that. Also, I might have to look at my stream settings. I think my the quality in my settings might have gone down. But it's all good. Let me go ahead and see if I can zoom in for y'all. That's a little bit clearer. That might be the best I can do for right now. But I'm going to go ahead and continue. I'll just start from up here. When Cartman eventually meets the real Kennedy, she points out the overwhelming amount of backlash she received for her well-intentioned efforts. Then came the hate mail. Ugly letters from racists who couldn't stand that some of the Panderstone's rehashes had diverse women characters in the lead. I decided I would make movies that fight all bigotry in our society, but instead of doing the real work, I turned to the Panderstone. I was fighting with the wrong tool. All I ever wanted was to make great entertainment. But as soon as you start getting piles of hate mail, endless messages calling you the C word, you can't think straight. I'm sorry I was so reckless with the things you love. It was just lazy. To which Cartman admits, well, I'm sorry I wrote all those letters. I guess just railing on woke stuff all the time is pretty lazy too. Except not really. If y'all actually improve the fucking material, no one would be talking about it in that way. Elon Musk posted a laughing emoji and wrote timely. Carano, who was pushed out of Mandalorian in 2021 after a series of controversial online statements, used the episode as an opportunity to slam Kennedy and the Hollywood trades. Writing on Twitter, I'm not calling it that. This is the part where Kennedy demands any YouTubers get censored off of YouTube for sharing and laughing at this hilarious episode. She'll have YouTube disable the thumbs down option because of the ratio she received. Then she'll have her publicist, Ghouls, make sure Variety and Hollywood Reporter run hit pieces about the South Park creators and their families, smearing their names through every useful idiot she has under her thumb who would sell their soul to work for Lucasfilm. She'll activate her online mob to repeat that South Park creators are racist, bigot, transphobes, and demand the South Park creators publicly apologize by only using words she approves of. And finally, she'll demand they subject themselves to a re-education course of 45 people in the LGBT community Zoom call to sit there and listen to how badly they got their feelings hurt all over a little boop of a South Park episode. But maybe, just maybe, the jig is up. Oh man. It should be pointed out that it's unfair to single out Kennedy for Disney's overall box office struggles and stock decline. Lucasfilm is a subsidiary of Disney, and while Kennedy has received criticism over her handling of the Star Wars franchise in the past decade, which saw declining box office returns and plenty of behind the scenes creative shakeups, she's not in charge of Disney's overall slate, or considered the mastermind behind the company's so called woke push, which has included public battles with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis over anti-LGBTQ policies, as well as more representative casting and characters across the company's various divisions, including Pixar. On Kennedy's side of the ledger, The Mandalorian was considered a massive critic and fan success, at least until the show's recent third season slump. And the show was credited with launching stream service Disney Plus. Last year's Andor was arguably the most acclaimed Star Wars title in decades. But other Lucasfilm titles, ranging from Obi-Wan to Indiana Jones and The Dial of Destiny, haven't fared so well. Kennedy is also the most high-profile female entertainment executive at the company, perhaps even in all of Hollywood, and it's probably not a coincidence that so many online critics expend so much firepower on her rather than, say, Disney CEO Iger or Marvel president Kevin Feige. The intensity of her online vitriol, not just in comments, but in article after article after article after article on various sites, often speculating she's this close to being fired over the past, has been outsized, which is part of what South Park is addressing. Yeah, they accurately portrayed what went on in the episode and went on to highlight a lot of the criticisms that Disney received for how they handled these long-standing IPs. The real question is, at the moment, what would I rate the episode out of 10? Oh, I should explain my numbered rating system. Yeah, mine makes sense. So from 1 to 10, 5 is in the middle because that makes sense. And 7 should be an above average score for something because that makes sense. It's 3 points away from a full mark score. What would I rate this show? The episode? I would rate it a 5. Mostly because I think they went too soft on all the people involved. And they played it too safe with certain conversation topics, especially the Miles Morales bit. I wouldn't say that the episode was dishonest, but I would say that it didn't fully convey the depths of the pain and, well, hell, vitriol that some of the fans have felt because of what Disney has done to a lot of these properties. So that's what I would rate it. And speaking of Marvel properties and Disney, the final article of the night will feature more Marvel Comics and Marvel Cinematic Universe content from Variety. Crisis at Marvel. Jonathan Majors' backup plans, the Marvels reshoots, reviving original Avengers, and more issues revealed. One second, guys. Let me see if anyone said anything different in chat. This past September, a group of Marvel creatives, including studio chief Kevin Feige, assembled in Palm Springs for the studio's annual retreat. Most years, the vibe would have been confident, even cocky, given how the premier superhero brand owned by Disney since 2009 has remade the entertainment business in its image. This occasion was angst-ridden. Everyone at Marvel was reeling from a series of disappointments on screen, a legal scandal involving one of its biggest stars, and questions about the viability of the studio's ambitious strategy to extend the brand beyond movies into streaming. The most Excuse me. The most pressing issue to be discussed at the retreat was what to do about Jonathan Majors, the actor who had been poised to carry the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but instead is headed to a high-profile trial in New York later this month on domestic violence charges. The actor insists he is the victim, but the damage to his reputation and the chance he could lose the case has forced Marvel to reconsider its plans to center the next phase on its interlocking slate of sequels, spin-offs, and series around Major's villainous character, Kang the Conqueror. At the gathering in Palm Springs, executives discussed backup plans, including pivoting to another comic book adversary like Doctor Doom. Why the fuck was Doctor Doom not the first choice over Kang the Conqueror, a vastly lesser known villain? Why wasn't Phase 4 of Marvel all about the Fantastic Four instead of the Avengers? Because, you know, the Avengers are effectively splintered now, what with the death of Tony Stark and the choice of Steve Rogers to live out his life in the 70s. I believe that's what it was, the 70s, the 40s, whichever one it was. The most prominent faces of the Avengers had pretty much left, you know. Tony and Steve were the two heads of the Marvel Civil War. Tony being in favor of the Superhero Registration Act and Rogers being against it. Without them, in my opinion, it is very hard to have an Avengers because the leadership element is gone. That's probably why they're trying to have talks about reviving them, but I think that appears later on in the article. I'm going to continue. But making any shift would carry its own headaches. Majors was already a big presence in the MCU. According to who? Including as the scene-stealing antagonist in February's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Don't get me wrong, Majors is a good actor. But that's not enough to say he was a fucking presence in the MCU. The only other places you would have seen Kang outside of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, if you even bothered, would be in the Disney Plus shows. But as the stats show, no one's watching that shit. So to sit here and say he has a presence in the MCU is fucking laughable. You don't get a presence from one movie. Not even Thanos was able to do that shit. Especially since he would often appear in end-credit sequences and was only hinted at. And he has been positioned as the franchise's next big thing in this season of Loki, particularly in the finale, which airs on November 9th and sets up Kang as the titular star of a fifth Avengers film in 2026. I wish these companies would realize that they don't get to pick the star of their franchises. They don't. You put out a hero or a villain, you see how the fans respond to it, and from there you gauge the fan reception. If fan reception is positive, you give them more. If fan reception is negative or in the middle, you sideline that character and put someone who's more popular to be the face of your franchise. That's how it fucking works. Because as much as we love making new properties as creators, if you want to be able to generate more content and give the world more creative mediums to explore, you have to be profitable. So if you see that a certain character is making people buy more tickets or buy more merch, you give them more of that fucking character. It's just the way it should be if you want any hope of continuing to be a creative, especially in Hollywood. I just want to know where they lost the plot at. Marvel is truly fucked with the whole Kang angle, says one top deal maker who has seen the final Loki episode. And they haven't had an opportunity to rewrite until very recently because of the WGA strike. but I don't see a path to how they move forward with them. Beyond the bad press for Majors, the brain trust at Marvel is also grappling with the November release of The Marvels. Excuse me. A sequel to 2019's blockbuster, that term should be used loosely, Captain Marvel, that has been plagued with lengthy reshoots and now appears likely to underwhelm at the box office. Well, it was always destined to underwhelm at the box office. You're trying to launch a sequel about a character no one gives a fuck about, featuring two other characters no one gives a fuck about. So that shit was destined to fail. I'm sorry to tell you. This is all an unprecedented turn of fortune for a company that has enjoyed a nearly uninterrupted string of hits ever since it started independently producing its movies with 2008's Iron Man. I mean, but we have to ask ourselves, why was that? Why did it seem like Marvel couldn't lose or could not miss at that point in time? It was because it's because they were doing what I explained earlier. They saw how people received Iron Man, and they gave them more Iron Man. And they did that with each movie to come, mainly taking a lot of their inspiration from the comic books that the characters came from. But the further and further they deviated and drifted into politics, the worse the movies became. And they have only themselves to blame for that. Let's see. That wildly profitable run culminated in the $2.8 billion success of 2019's Avengers Endgame, a high watermark for the studio that has earned nearly $30 billion over 32 films. Replicating that kind of phenomenon is never easy. However, the source of Marvel's current troubles can be traced back to 2020. That's when the COVID I can't fucking do this, man. Are they really about to blame COVID? Is that what they're about to do, bro? I need a minute. I fucking need a minute. I need a second. I'm sorry. I can't. Ugh. Replicating that kind of phenomenon is never easy. However, the source of Marvel's current troubles can be traced back to 2020. That's when the COVID pandemic ushered in a mandate to help boost Disney's stock price with an endless torrent of interconnected Marvel content for the studio's fledgling streaming platform, Disney Plus. According to the plan, there would never be a lapse in superhero fare, with either a film in theaters or a new television series streaming at any given moment. But the ensuing tsunami of spandex proved to be too much of a good thing, and the demands of churning out so much programming taxed the Marvel apparatus. Moreover, the need to tease out an interwoven storyline over so many disparate shows, movies, and platforms created a muddled narrative that baffled viewers. There's a bunch of different reasons for that, man. First of all, it seems like none of the storylines between each show or movie is even interconnected. Also, anything you would show in a movie that relies on people watching the Disney Plus shows was doomed to fail because no one was watching that shit. That's why you need to be able to create movies that can stand on their own. Maybe sprinkle in one or two things that reference the Disney Plus shows, but it shouldn't be like a slew of Disney Plus shit or like this really big thing that you would only know about if you watch the Disney Plus shit. That's not how it works. In comic books, that's okay because you have an editor's note after a character says a particular thing and that says something like, read issue so-and-so to find out more. They don't have that in movies. They don't. And even if they did, it'd be stupid. No one would be going for that. Movies are not the same as comic books. So you would never be able to get rid of that even if they did put editor's notes in movies. The Marvel machine was pumping out a lot of content. Did it get to the point where there was just too much and they were burning people out on superheroes? It's possible. I mean, it's possible, but that's definitely not what happened. There's still a market for superheroes. People are still hungry for superhero content. What they're not hungry for is political messaging. And that's exactly what caused the downfall of the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the MCU, and with Star Wars with the Force is fucking female. The more you do, the tougher it is to maintain quality. They tried experimenting with breaking in some new characters like Shang-Chi and Eternals with mixed results. The reason why is because you didn't portray them in the form they came in the comic books, and it's always going to come back to that, bro. For the Eternals, it was just LGBT shit, and they brought in Adam Warlock after Thanos, which, why? What sense does that make? With budgets as big as these, you need home runs. Facts. You need to make a return. Like they're basically throwing their money in a bottomless pit. They were sacrificing that shit to a Hawaiian volcano god, bro. Like it's ridiculous. Like huge misses. The Marvels, which opens in theaters on November 10th, will struggle to get the ball past the infield, at least by Marvel's outsized standards. The movie, which cost $250 million and sees Brie Larson reprising her role as Captain Marvel, is tracking to open to $75 to $80 million, far below the $185 million Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness took in domestically in its debut weekend last year. Directed by Nia DaCosta, The Marvels unites Larson's heroine with two superpowered allies, Teyonah Parris's Monica Rambeau, introduced in 2021 Disney Plus series WandaVision, and Iman Vellani's Kamala Khan, first seen in the 2022 series Miss Marvel. But instead of seamlessly building on the success of Captain Marvel, this move resulted in 4 weeks of reshoots to bring coherence to a tangled storyline. The success of the first Captain Marvel film is overstated, mainly because when you think of a film's success, everyone wants to ignore true fan reception and only look at the amount of money it brought in. The reason why this movie did so well is because it was sold as context that you needed to understand Endgame. It was sandwiched right in between Infinity War and Endgame. After Infinity War, oh my God, you have to see this Captain Marvel movie because she plays a huge role in Endgame. People went to go see it. That movie was garbage. But people went to go see it because of the marketing. That's why it was so successful. Very few positive reviews from actual fans of comic books or even the original MCU. Then eyebrows were raised again when DaCosta began working on another film while The Marvels was still in post-production. The filmmaker moved to London earlier this year to begin prepping for her Tessa Thompson drama. I can't pronounce that. I think it's pronounced Hida. A representative for DaCosta declined to comment. If you're directing a $250 million movie, it's kind of weird for the director to leave with a few months to go, says a source familiar with the production. The Marvels has seen its release date move back twice. Two wants to swap places with Quantumania. That sentence fucked me up, I'm sorry. Which was deemed further along, and again when its debut shifted from July to November to give the filmmakers more time to tinker. But that extra time didn't necessarily help. In June, Marvel, which traditionally only solicits feedback from Disney employees and their friends and families, took the uncharacteristic step of holding a public test screening in Texas. The audience gave the film middling reviews. But Marvel has never been in the business of being average. Kevin's real superpower, his genius, has always been in post-production and getting his hands on movies and making sure that they finish strongly. The source adds, these days he's spread thin. Feige declined to comment for this story. Feige isn't the only person showing signs of strain. Marvel's entire VFX battalion, including staffers and vendors, is struggling to keep pace with a never-ending stream of productions. This past February, when the credits rolled at the world premiere of Quantumania, shock rippled through the Regency Village Theater in Westwood over some shoddy CGI. There were at least 10 scenes where the visual effects had been added at the last minute and were out of focus, says one veteran power broker who was there. It was insane. I've never seen something like that in my entire career. Everyone was talking about it. Even the kids of executives were talking about it. The schedule swap with the Marvels had left the Ant-Man sequel in a squeeze, pushing up its post-production schedule by 4.5 months. Marvel films are known for coming down to the wire, given Feige's ability to foam the runway and land a plane that way, says one executive familiar with how the company operates. But this level of unfinished was unprecedented and would be noted in scathing reviews when the tentpole went to the $200 million budget, opened 11 days after the premiere. Critics weren't the only ones dismayed. Fed up with 14-hour days and no overtime, Marvel VFX workers voted unanimously to unionize in September, sparking an industry-wide trend. The year 2023 was the straw that broke the camel's back, says former Marvel Studios VFX assistant coordinator Anna George, who appeared before the Congressional Labor Caucus on October 19th to testify about the studio's untenable deadlines and working conditions. The pay and long hours in Marvel were the reason we had to start our unionization process there. The conditions were completely unsustainable. Wait, how much more of this is there? Because this shit is long. This is long. Hang on, I'll ask you guys. Do you guys want me to finish out the rest of this article? The so-called VFX. F-Base Street. Shit, where was I? Oh, I was right here. You guys want me to finish the rest of this? Oh, I see Toast's comment. Yeah, okay. I'll go ahead and read the rest of it because the information here is good, but if it's just gonna be long as hell, I'd rather just stop and just talk about it. I think I've been breaking up the monotony good enough. But now it's getting into more of the logistical stuff. It's not really as exciting. So I figured I'd just poll the audience, so to speak. Disney's top brass, including newly returned CEO Bob Iger, was said to be Oh, shit. I don't think I've ever seen that word written before. Disney's top brass, including newly returned CEO Bob Iger, was said to be apoplectic about Marvel's VFX troubles. 1 month after the Quantumania premiere debacle, the guillotine fell on Victoria Alonso, who oversaw the studio's physical production and, physical production, post production, VFX, and animation. While the reason cited for her abrupt firing was her unauthorized role as an executive producer on the Oscar-nominated film Argentina, 1985. Insiders say Disney was incensed that quality control on its Marvel productions was plummeting, particularly on the ever-expanding TV front. The VFX logjam had been evident for some time, with some final effects for such Disney Plus series as WandaVision and She-Hulk Attorney-at-Law inserted after their streaming debuts. That Alonso was busy promoting her art house project while Rome burned certainly didn't sit well with Disney's leadership. Alonso's attorney says her client is unable to comment. But some internal sources suggest Alonso was a scapegoat and point to the She-Hulk VFX issues as a symptom of deeper rot, namely a lack of oversight on script development. In the original arc of She-Hulk, a flashback of star Tatiana Maslany's transformation into her character didn't take place until episode 8. I think that's kind of a problem too, because you should get to the superhero transformation as soon as possible, but whatever. The penultimate episode, after Marvel's Brain Trust watched footage, it realized the scene needed to happen in the pilot episode so that audiences could see more of the character's backstory early, which was a fucking good move, because what they're there to watch is She-Hulk. And while Jen Walters is obviously a part of She-Hulk, I mean, you're still there for the superhero. That meant that the VFX team was tasked with fixing the mess in post-production. The so-called bad VFX we see was because of half-baked scripts, says one person involved with She-Hulk. How does that make sense, though? Like, I don't know. If the visual effects are bad, how can you blame the script? You know what I mean? Like, because like even if the scene doesn't make any sense, whether or not the visual effects look good is a completely different conversation. Like, I don't even see how that follows. Says one person involved with She-Hulk. That is not Victoria, that is Kevin, and even above Kevin. Those issues should be addressed in pre-production. The timeline is not allowing the Marvel executives to sit with the material. All the while, Marvel was bleeding money, with a single episode of She-Hulk costing some $25 million, dwarfing the budget of a final season episode of HBO's Game of Thrones. But without a similar zeitgeist bang. The August 2024 series premiere of the El Capitan Theater foreshadowed what was to come 6 months later at the Quantumania Bow. The She-Hulk special effects were out of focus in multiple scenes. There are signs that the flooded product is leading people to tune out. I'm not prepared to call it a permanent fall, but based on the numbers that go with Marvel podcasts, Marvel-based articles, friends who do Marvel-based video coverage, all of these numbers are significantly down, says Joanna Robinson, co-author of the New York Times bestseller MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios, who is a writer and podcaster at The Ringer. Quality is suffering. In 2019, at the peak, if you put Marvel Studios in front of something, people were like, oh, that brand means quality. That association is no longer the case because there has been so many projects that felt half-baked and undercooked. As public criticism mounts, Feige is pulling the plug on scripts and projects that aren't working. Case in point, the Blade reboot. Oh, God. With Mahershala Ali signed on for the eponymous role of a vampire, things look promising for a 2023 release date. But the project has gone through at least 5 writers, 2 directors, and 1 shut down 6 weeks before production. Excuse me. The fact that this went through the hands of 5 writers is very alarming. We don't even Lord knows what's going on with that script at this very moment if 5 people touched it. Because that means the person behind them has to make sense of whatever garbage was written before them if they're not able to even rewrite the whole thing. 2 directors and 1 shut down 6 weeks before production. One person familiar with the script permutations says the story at one point morphed into a narrative led by women and filled with life lessons. Yeah, and that pretty much just made my point for me. Blade was relegated to the fourth lead. A bizarre idea considering that the studio had 2-time Oscar winner Ali on board. No, bizarre idea considering the movie is called Blade. The movie's supposed to be about Blade. Motherfucker's on the cover. He's on the promotional material and the movie posters. Yet he's relegated to fourth fiddle for talking about life lessons. What are they doing? This just proves that the Panderverse was right about everything that they put in their shit. Amid reports that Ali was ready to exit over script issues, Feige went back to the drawing board and hired Michael Green, the Oscar-nominated writer of Logan, to start anew. Speculation around town is that the studio is looking to make the film, now slated for 2025, on a budget of less than $100 million, a deviation from Marvel's big spending strategy. With Iger publicly acknowledging the downside of a Marvel TV glut that the diluted focus and attention, the keepers of the comic book empire are considering some dramatic movies. Sources say that there have been talks to bring back the original gang for an Avengers movie. This would include reviving Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, both of whom were killed off in Endgame. That shouldn't be a stumbling block. In comic books, beloved characters are often killed. No. You can't invoke this comic books do it all the time shit. You can't do it. I'm not accepting this. Whenever anyone brings up that you should rely more on the comic book material, you dismiss them. But now you want to adopt shit that happens in the comics when it suits you. Which, by the way, this is an actual complaint by comic book fans, and they think it's stupid because it makes death seem impermanent. It makes it seem like death doesn't actually mean anything. Like the fucking writers at Marvel have the Dragon Balls. So like this actually doesn't fix anything. On top of that, whatever bullshit ass reboot or retcon you do to bring back Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow and Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, you're not going to be able to satisfy anyone with that. I'm not even going to lie, bro. What explanation would you possibly have to bring them back to life? Especially Scarlett Johansson. Because if you sacrifice somebody to get the Soul Stone, the rules are that you can't bring them back. So how are you going to circumvent that? Like, see what kind of problems this creates? You have to be very careful about who you decide to kill in your stories and why and what you plan on doing after the character dies. When you plan a character death, you better have your fucking ducks all the way in a row. You don't just kill a character on a whim. And this is why this shit is problematic. This is why continuity is so important. And this is the very reason I'm going to have to do a video on the importance of continuity. Because you get shit like this. Like throughout this article, we've heard them say that the scripts are transmogrifying into unrecognizable stories. The threads that are being made by Disney Plus shows between the movies aren't connecting and it's all over the place. And then you have here where these motherfuckers kill off characters that they end up needing later. And now you have to come up with a bullshit reason and justification for why you brought them back. Like all of this shit had a root cause and it was all preventable. It was extra preventable for fucking superhero movies because you have 80 plus years worth of source material you could have just took from. Like it just makes no sense. That shouldn't be a stumbling block. In comic books, beloved characters are often killed off only to be resurrected thanks to the power of things like the multiverse, which people also hate. The multiverse, an idea that has now become an excuse for lazy writing and thoughtless retcons. But the studio hasn't yet committed to the idea. If it were able to bring those actors back, it wouldn't come cheap. You got that shit right. Sources say Downey Jr.'s upfront salary for Iron Man 3 was around $25 million. Will that solve Marvel's Majors problem? When the Quantumania actor was arrested in March, Disney executives insisted that they could afford to play a wait-and-see game given that Avengers: The Kang Dynasty wasn't expected to begin shooting until early 2024. But then, I don't know, bro. I don't know I don't think that movie would have done well. Kang does not have a presence in the MCU like they're trying to flex. He just doesn't. And the reason why Loki was so popular as a villain was because Loki wasn't the reason people were watching the movie. They were watching the movie because of the Avengers characters that they had grown familiar with between their individual films. Once the Avengers happened, we wanted to see how these characters who had their own individual films that we were accustomed to and familiar with, how they interacted with each other and what they were going to be up against. The fact that Loki became a fan favorite villain was just happenstance, honestly, because people weren't watching the movie for the villain. They were watching the movie for the heroes. So I don't know what the draw to the Kang Dynasty would have been outside of Jonathan Majors' name. And if you're someone who's a comic book fan, that's not really going to be appealing to you. Especially since Kang isn't a very popular villain in comics anyway. But what do I know? But then Majors was dropped in quick succession by his publicists and managers. He remains a client at WME, the agency where he landed after CAA parted ways with him pre-arrest for his brutal conduct towards staff, says one source. CAA declined to comment. In April, other alleged domestic violence victims of Majors began cooperating with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Then, ahead of a key hearing in October, media outlets including Variety obtained a court filing that referenced the police incident in London involving Majors that led his ex-girlfriend to seek medical attention. Making matters even stickier, the ex-girlfriend also worked on Quantumania as a movement coach, and the London incident took place while Majors was shooting season 2 of Loki. On October 25th, a New York judge denied Majors' motion to dismiss the case, which ensures that the actor will stand trial in late November. His legal team is attempting to keep some material in the case sealed. A studio source notes that regardless of the actor's legal issues, Marvel already had considered moving away from a Majors-led phase because of the box office performance of Quantumania, which will struggle to make a profit. It gave people pause given that Quantumania didn't exactly land, the source says. On October 27, Disney removed another Majors film, Searchlight's Magazine Dreams, from the release calendar. Recasting Majors is also an option, as Feige did when he replaced Terrence Howard in Iron Man 2 with Don Cheadle. In fact, Marvel isn't afraid to change direction even after making splashy announcements. Armor Wars was first unveiled as a series and is now being developed as a feature while the studio's push to adapt the comic book Inhumans into a feature film generated headlines but is now dormant. The now defunct Marvel Television mounted an Inhumans TV series in 2017 that ran for one season on ABC. Still, there was one bright spot in 2023. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which became Marvel's biggest draw of the year with $845 million worldwide. The fact that it was directed by James Gunn, the guy now running rival DC Studios, was lost on no one. With Marvel, It used to be as close to a guarantee as you could get, says Paul. Oh my God, that last name. Paul D, a box office analyst at ComScore. So going all in on the budget made sense. Guardians 3 was a bit overlooked in how successful it was. Not really. But that had James Gunn and Chris Pratt, and I think star power is becoming more important. No, star power is not becoming more important. When you look at the inception of the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the first Avengers, not everyone that was on the cast was a well-known actor. Or if they were, it was from films that were from long ago. So that's not really an excuse. The actors, especially when it comes to pre-established franchises, matter a hell of a lot less than how the characters from the source material are portrayed. So again, with this fairy tale bullshit, like star power doesn't matter for things like this. The only thing you need to worry about is, do they look like the character from the book and their acting range, and that's all you got. That's all you need to worry about. Where was I? And where? No, star power. Okay. Then there was Quantumania with 476 million. Anything under $500 million is viewed as a disappointment. And these overreaching expectations are a result of so much success over the years. I mean, a combination of that and the fact that they spend way more than they earn whenever you get the box office numbers back. The key to reinvigorating Marvel may lie with the superhero arsenal that Disney acquired during its 2019 purchase of 21st Century Fox. That deal brought several blue chip heroes such as the X-Men and the Fantastic Four back under the studio's control. Already, fans are geeking out about next year's Deadpool 3, which unites Ryan Reynolds, Merc with a Mouth, with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and a reboot of Fantastic Four, slated for 2025. As a bonus, the Fox editions give Feige an opportunity to reimagine the X-Men franchise. I hate that word, reimagine, because it always means the exact shit that Panderverse highlighted. The very property he cut his teeth on as a young executive at Lawrence Schuler Donner's production company. Now that the WGA strike is in the rearview mirror, Marvel has started talking to writers about bringing the X-Men into the MCU fold. While Feige recalibrates, the rest of the industry is anxiously hoping that Marvel's best days are not behind it. Writing the Marvel obituary would be ill-advised, says Jason Squire, professor emeritus at USC School of Cinematic Arts and host of the Movie Business Podcast. Kevin Feige is the Babe Ruth of movie executives, and Marvel has the most profitable track record in movie history. No question. I mean, that might be the case, but to ignore their flop after flop after flop, their flop streak has gone on for a while now, bro. You can't ignore that. And it's sad to see that we're still in this state where studios have to pretend that the fan reception isn't negative. And they can just sweep everything that people are trying to tell them under the rug and blame everyone except themselves for the content problem, the self-evident content problem present in their studios. Quality is not a priority for them, as we can clearly see with the VFX and all these Disney Plus shows. Preservation is clearly not a priority for them, as we can see with the fact that they want a race change and sexuality change, pre-existing popular characters from the Marvel Comics history, and it's all just very sad to see. But as more of this unfolds and these companies continue to dismiss the demands, criticism, and very valid opinions of their fan bases and customers, we will see them continue to fail. And it's not that anyone wanted this, but the rejection of bad material was what had to happen. Especially if it meant becoming a creator. So the most I can do is encourage everyone to seek out other material that actually cares about your input as a customer. And if these companies aren't interested in listening to you when you say, hey, I want hot women in my fucking comic book media, I want hot women in my video games, or, I want attractive characters and women in my media, to repeat myself, then you take your money elsewhere. Whenever a company is not willing to give you what you want, and you've made it evidently clear that that is what you want, your job as a paying customer is to take your business elsewhere. And that's the most morally righteous thing I can encourage any of y'all to do. Because to sit here and tell you to keep spending money and giving money to people that hate you is just not something I'm going to endorse, ever. But as far as the topics we've covered here tonight, that's all I have for you guys this week. And I hope I was able to provide enough entertainment to go along with the somewhat bitter information I've been delivering, especially when it comes to the pop culture issues we're experiencing. But I think that's all I have for you guys tonight. And if there's nothing else popping up in the chat, oh, thanks, Toast. I appreciate it. Again, tell your friends. Believe it or not, regardless of any technical issues that go down during the streams, I still have a good time because this is stuff I'm passionate about, and it just feels good to air out grievances about it. And especially since now I've started making my own material that I plan to release to the public pretty soon. I might even start promotion of it at some point next year. I'm not as bothered by this as I could be, especially when comic books have an 80+ year publication history and there's no possible way I could read all the content. I could just go buy back issues at any point and not give Marvel a dime. I could just buy old comic books from comic book stores and they were the only ones that would receive the money. But yeah, yeah. Actually, Toast, if you wanted, you could ask Soups about some of the stuff I've been writing because he's been reading a lot of it. Also, if you happen to be a writer, I have a writing group in the Discord server that you can join, and I hold critiques every week. But yeah, I'll let him run that by you. But other than that, this stream actually went about as long as I wanted it to. It's been 2 hours, 18 minutes, and I've gotten everything I needed to out of the way. So, this has been the Monkey's Paw episode 3. We're gonna try to have the next episode up within about the next couple weeks, like we've been doing. It's not always gonna be Friday. Today was Saturday. I try to coordinate with my other co-hosts to see what day suits them, and if they can't make it, I'll end up doing a solo show. So, yeah. But yeah, this has been the Monkey's Paw episode 3. This has been your gracious host, Kaine Walker, and I'll see you all again next time. Peace. be long as hell, I'd rather just stop and just talk about it. I think I've been breaking up the monotony good enough. But now it's getting into more of the logistical stuff. It's not really as exciting. So I figured I'd just poll the audience, so to speak. Disney's top brass, including newly. Just talk about it.